Okay.
So we are joined from the campus of Alcorn State University on the reservation in Lorman, Mississippi by a class of 2019 Velma Jackson graduate, alum of Hinds Community College, and soon to be alum of Alcorn State University, Big Momma herself, Mekiyla Brown. We thank you so much for joining us again. We've got all juniors and seniors with us here in our Velma Jackson High School College Career Readiness class. We're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central High School, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So, as always, we thank you for joining us to talk about your journey from high school to junior college, and soon to be in a great career.
Let me figure out how to share this screen. Thank you, Coach Poggett. Let's see. Okay. One second. It was up here, then it disappeared. Now let's see, can we share? Okay. Now we can share.
There we go. We got it.
Let's see. Uh-oh. So you can see the PowerPoint?
I do.
Here we go. There we go.
There we go. Extra. We got it.
Okay. Thank you again for that warm welcome, Coach Poggett. Once again, my name is Mekiyla Brown. I am a 2020 COVID graduate of Velma Jackson High School.
I'm sorry, I said the wrong year. I apologize. It was 2020.
It's okay. It's okay. I am a 2020 graduate of Velma Jackson High School. Now, these are some of the accolades that I had while being in school, but I always tell everybody if there was any organization that I could join, I was definitely in that organization. So if everybody knew Big Momma around the campus, and we did each and everything, the biggest takeaway from Velma Jackson was definitely the Academy of Multimedia. I was a part of the class to finally get the Academy. Was it? Help me out.
Nationally recognized.
Nationally recognized. I was a part of that class. So that definitely was my biggest takeaway from Velma. So moving right along into the real world, we know that COVID shook the world up for each and every person, especially those of the graduating class. But nonetheless, we kept pushing forward, and I continued my journey of education at Hinds Community College in Utica campus. For those that don't know, fun fact about Hinds and Utica is only one of the two only HBCU community college campuses in the state of Mississippi. The other HBCU campus community college is Kahoma Community College. So I got to go ahead and get that early HBCU experience. So while being there, my major was radio and television production and broadcast. I served as a resident assistant. I served as yearbook staff. I served in Phi Theta Kappa. Phi Theta Kappa is an honor society, which is an invite only for those who have, I think it's a 3.0 GPA. You receive an invite and you pay your dues and you're a Phi Theta Kappa member for life. And even now, I get scholarship opportunities behind that. Within Phi Theta Kappa, I was named All Mississippi Academic Team, which you have to have a high GPA from, and only I think 50 are selected from the state of Mississippi to join that team. I was also named Outstanding Student within my program, and I also wrote and produced and reported for a WHUC News 7, which is our own campus news team. We have our own little 1-2-1-2 there, as I like to say. So we have our own little news station. So it's like a little mini news station. If you look at some of the pictures, this picture at the bottom right, you see me and this lovely bald head guy. That was my professor, Mr. Timothy Chrysler, who's still the chair of the department. And I know I still talk to him each and every day. But before I move further, I know you see right beside the campus name, I went for free. So a big tip on going to school for free, you have to apply for scholarships. Scholarships are out there. I don't know, have you talked to Mr. Dunny Epstein just yet this semester? But Mr. Epstein is the recruiter on the Hinds campus, and
he was actually here today. They all had a chance to talk to him today.
Okay, well, like I said, he will tell you, listen, it's a lot of free money that people are willing to give out to help students, but students have to take the initiative to actually apply. You just have to fill out the application, and it's not hard. It's not hard. It may take you about 20 minutes out your day, 20 minutes to fill out scholarships. Not only that, financial aid plays a big part. ACT plays a big part. I know while I was enrolled at Hinds, I was given the ACT scholarship for getting the 21 on my ACT, and it was like a $2,000 scholarship. Keep in mind, Hinds is only for $4,000 or $5,000 a semester, so that was half of my tuition paid for. Um, with being a resident assistant, that was a scholarship. Basically, your tuition is paid for, your room and board is paid for. You have your own free private room that and you're just an RA. Moving right along, I have more accomplishments at Hinds, where I was also named National Association of Black Journalists Vice President of Media Production, and went on to be the president of NABJ. Now, a little spiel on NABJ is National Association of Black Journalists, where this is a big networking opportunity to connect with journalists all over the world. When I say all over the world, all over the world. If that's your passion, you got journalists, you got producers, you have podcast creators, you have social media influencers. Like, I know each year we do like this big conference. This year it was in Alabama. And when I say you meet people to this day that I still am connected with. I send them my portfolio, I send them my resume, like, hey, can you take a look at this and tell me what exactly am I missing? What do I need? So that's another way that I've been connected in the media realm. My first internships was Devoted Dreamers. It is a 7-on-7 team that is founded by the New Orleans Saints linebacker, Demario Davis. I don't have the picture on here, but it's in this PowerPoint somewhere at some point in time. But I did that. I worked for his photography and camera crew, so we were able to capture photos and videos to continue to promote the 7-on-7 team. After that, right before graduating, so right before I obtained a college degree, I was able to land an internship at U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, which is ERDIC, and I was a student trainee for the Information and Arts Department. This experience showed me like the real side of like, hey, this was what you really want. Here's a corporate side of this. Now, with ERDIC, it gave you that insight of how it feels to be in, like, if you see on TV them sitting in the office doing projects, communicating with your people, go out to lunch. That's what that feel gave me. So that was like my first real internship when it came to me being in like the media or the production side of the industry. Moving right along, I graduated from Hinds in December of 21. I did it in a year and a half instead of 2. So I graduated a semester early. And with that being said, I was also a summa cum laude graduate. So I graduated with a 4.0. Now you may say, like, where do all her free time go? Honestly, each and every day, I can't tell you what half of my free time goes. This seems like an everyday thing to me. As you can see, back in high school, this was an everyday thing to me. So like, doing this and doing that and balancing everything was just the norm for me. But while doing all that at Hinds, I was able to launch my photography business, which I still do to this day, but I have backed off just a little bit. But we're soon to get back in the works of that. But I started my own photography business. Not to mention, after graduating Hinds, I can officially say that I was named an award-winning journalist. What that means, there's a conference every year that is held. It's called MAB Awards. MAB is Mississippi Association of Broadcasters. They name the top students and the top professionals in the state each year. So this was year 20, I think this was April of 22. Backing up while I was at Hinds, while I was enrolled at Hinds, I produced a Black History documentary, which you can see in the pocket. If you want me to send you the link, I can. You can still see now on YouTube. I produced a Black History documentary where we traveled from Clarksdale, Mississippi. We traveled the Bruce Trail all the way back to Hinds and Utica. And we basically covered little hidden figures that was in your backyard. So like Windsor Ruins that's right here, like 5-6 minutes from Alcorn. The pillars of the plantation still stands. And not to mention, at the Oakland Chapel that is on Alcorn campus actually has the original steps that were there to the plantation. So just covering little bits of history facts, yeah. So I've been a Mississippi resident my whole life, and I never knew a lot of things until we covered them. So with that documentary, I was able to place first place amongst all of the college students that competed. So that was Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, Jackson State. I know I'm missing some people, Belhaven, Tougaloo. So all the students that competed that year, I was able to place first place. And of course, you see my team. I think we racked up like 5, 6 first place on our year. So we can tell we was booked and busy that year trying to get things done. Moving on from Hinds, where we are currently, I'm currently at Alcorn State University. I am a senior mass communication major. And of course, I serve as a lot of things here as well. I'm also NABJ and AAF president. Now, I mentioned NABJ earlier, but AAF is American Advertising Federation, which basically it shows you another side to like the mass comm realm, which it gives you the perspective of marketing and advertisement, which each of these organizations I have been able to travel. And when I say travel, I have been able to travel with little to no cost. Little to no cost, but we'll get into that a little bit later in the PowerPoint. I also served as Miss NABJ. I was a part of the Great Media Training Center inaugural class. I serve as reporter and producer for our TV station here. I do the noonday newscast for the radio station here, WPRL 91.7 FM. And if you ever want to listen to me, I either go live on my social media, or if you type in WPRL.org, you can actually listen live to the radio at 12 on Wednesdays and Fridays is when I go live. I also had the opportunity to take part of the Brave Sports Network team. That means the live stream that you see of the Braves football team, the Braves basketball team, when we have home games, I'm 9 times out of 10 the lead producer. So for the football games, I work the camera, but for the basketball games, I'm actually the producer. So I'm the person behind the system, punching everything, making sure everything goes up, making sure the shot clock is right, making sure my shots are right. I'm that person, which is the lead producer. I'm also the student liaison for the Alcorn State Wesley Foundation, which is a Christian-based organization that you can join. It's just I call it a home away from home. It's right off the campus, right on what we call the stretch, which is the long highway getting to Alcorn. We go every Wednesday. We actually going today, and he texted me today and said we're gonna have soul food today. So our pastor cooks for us, and we just go. Sometimes it's just okay. We may go and have Bible study, or other times it may be go, hey, let's just take a Wednesday. Let's just play games and let's just talk. Let's just be normal people, like that sense of relief when you get off campus. Also, I am a staff writer for the Campus Chronicle, which is our newspaper within our department. So as you can see, I'm booked and busy each and every day. I've had the opportunity to basically explore the world through everything that I do. And as you can also see, I go to Alcorn for free. Those scholarships, financial aid, ACT. And I know here personally, every semester, Alcorn drops a phase 1, phase 2 is what they call it, or basically the foundation scholarships. And they drop at the beginning before you come back to school, and you have a week to apply. You have a week to apply. So I always say stay on top of those emails, because they do come out, and the scholarships are free of charge. Like, they're scholarships, they're here to help you. There are a lot of people that want to help college students get through the college journey with less hassle as they can possibly do. Moving right along, as you can see, that I have traveled and I have met people, and I do mean meet people. As you can see in the top left corner, that is the Mario Davis. Actually, we were in Texas for a 707 game, and we made sure that we got us a picture. I also met Howard Ballou. Howard Ballou is the highest paid Black man in the Mississippi that is on TV now. I met Dougie Fresh when I went to Vegas for an NABJ conference. I met Miss Maggie Wade. She has the same stature as Howard Ballou. They're right there together. They both work at WLBT. They have been great mentors when I was there. They'll take us under their wing like we're their little children. And it was just an experience to be. At the bottom left is Mr. Lance. He actually works for Investigating TV with the Gray Network, as well as he works in New Orleans at a news station as the lead producer. And I also met another NBC recruiter. So listen, a small town girl to go to so many places is basically astonishing and immaculate. Like, little to no cost. I know the Vegas trip, it was 2 of us to go, and basically the school backed us to go to make sure that we had that experience. We just went to Alabama. Alabama was the school paid for it pretty much. to just make sure that you have that experience in your back pocket. More of a recent thing, I've traveled yet again. In the top left corner, I was able to go to North Carolina A&T. I was selected out of 30 students to attend a multimedia short course, which basically you're from 8 in the morning, maybe 7, 6 in the morning to like 8 at night. You're being trained to be, whether that's a producer or anchor. Like the school basically had industry people to come in, teach us workshops during the week. And at the very end of the workshop, you were able to basically pitch yourself to like CNN, NBC, ABC, great television. Like you were able to sit in front of actual recruiters, actual people that are looking for people to work within their industry, and actually pitch yourself. I told you, if you look down to at the bottom where you see a whole bunch of people in purple, that was our football team. That was our team for the football season. And I can say that was a good time because you have different personalities. So of course, when you get a headset and you listen to people talk, it's a football game. So we had a good time.
Yeah, you also got a couple of New York City on here.
I got a couple of New York City. If you look at me in the brown coats, and above that picture and the one beside it, I was actually able to go to New York, and I went to New York on behalf of ALF. Basically, they had this incentive to push more HBCU students into advertising industry. So basically, we were able to go on a trip, flight paid for, rooms paid for. We were just supposed to go and learn as much as we can, and we did learn as much as we can. We were able to pitch different ideas to actually, I know they're not out here, but if you ever heard of Magnolia Bakery, if you ever have time, go look them up on Instagram, Magnolia Bakery. The person that created Magnolia Bakery, we was there to pitch different ideas of different whimsical things that they can do within their bakery, pretty much. We were able to meet. If you look in the picture all the way to your right, is a bunch of us. Those was other HBCU students that able to travel to St. Louis, Missouri. Also a part of it. We traveled to St. Louis, Missouri, and we stayed right where the arch was. So we was able to go to the park. We went to the arch. We did all that. And that was little to no cost. You look right below it, there was Miss Brittany Noble, who was an Alcorn alum, who we got to meet on a crown, I think it was Crown My Hair or it's Crown Panel. Basically, they talked about having natural hair on air, which was a big thing, but now everybody's becoming susceptible to it, but some stations still are not. But we were able to meet her in Alabama. We went in August, and above all that, I told you I was a part of the Wesley Foundation. So if you see the lovely lady all the way to look at the picture all the way to your right, all the way to your right, the last guy is Miss Bunny. Miss Bunny Davis is one of our oldest members that's still living, that serves on the Wesley board. So we were able to go to the church service with her, and she invited us back into her home. And when I say feast, we had a feast. We had one of those meals you had to lay on the couch afterwards. We had a feast. Once again, I know you guys was like, dang, what did she find time to do all this? How did she keep up? Listen, I keep God first in everything I do. So you see, I have my little scripture on there. I keep God. If it's for me, it's gonna for me. If it's not, it's not. So that's how I'm able to travel and keep a sense of mind while balancing still being a full-time student, positions on top of that, working part-time jobs. If you name it, I'm 9 to 13, I have done it. So that's some of the things I have done. I'm pretty sure I'm missing something. I travel so much, I try to remember, but I'm pretty sure I'm missing something, but it's neither here or there. Now, I say all that to say this. Not everyone is meant for college, and that's absolutely okay. That is absolutely okay. I can't tell you how many people I have ran into that was like, yeah, I tried college. It was something, but it just wasn't for me. And that's fine. You can go pick up your trade. At Hinds and Utica, they offer collision repair. They offer automotive repair. They offer
and they just built a brand new career tech building just a couple years ago.
They state of the art barbering and cosmetology. Like there's don't let anybody shame you from a blue collar job because it pays just as much as you pay to go to school. There's nothing wrong with it. So make that your decision if that's really what you want to do. But for those that really want to go to school, I got a couple one-on-ones for you. It's something that I can think of off the bat. Not too much. I know there's some stuff I probably have left out, but don't let anybody tell you that an 8 a.m. class is bad. Me personally, although it's hard to get up for an 8 a.m. class, imagine if you could have all your classes done for the day by 12 o'clock. By 12 o'clock within the day, and you can go off campus, do what you want to do. If they have a party that night, you got time, you do your homework, boom. Another big thing that students mishandle is misappropriating time. And when I say misappropriating time, that means basically procrastination. And me and my roommate was talking today, and I said, did you know procrastination is like the thief of time? Because you may procrastinate. I know that assignment ain't due till 11:59, but you can't wait till 11:30 to try to do it. You got to write 2 pages and it's due at 11:59. You have to manage your time because nobody is here to babysit you. Nobody's here to hold your hand. You have to understand time management. And that goes to just being on time in general, which that means being on time for meetings, being on time for class. That can take you very far, because I know, I'm telling you, there are professors out there that watch. If you're late to class always, or you don't show up until you get ready to show up, you may need that extra point or two to take you from that D to that C, so you can pass the class, so you don't have to retake it. But if you don't come on time and you don't put forth the effort in class, how do you expect the professors to actually just be like, well, I got you this time, but you don't come to class on time, or you don't come to class at all. So you want me to pull a string or two? Just keep that in mind. Another big thing is do not go out alone. I know Alcorn is a very small school, but even out here, I see people, when I see people walk alone, I'll be making sure, like, okay, you good? You just can't walk alone. Like, I know even bigger schools like Southern Miss, they're around the city. It's like, okay, let me find me what they call the buddy system. Let me find me a buddy that I can walk here and walk there with, and we'll be fine. Personal responsibilities. When you get to college, there's a lot going on that you're maybe not accustomed to. It can be so much happening at one time, but you make sure that you put yourself first. Make sure, hey, I need to get this done and get this done. Okay, if I can't get this assignment done, I can't go to this party tonight. Well, no, friend, I'm not gonna be able to go to this party. I got 50 assignments I need to do. Like those personal responsibilities, getting up for class on time, holding yourself accountable before you hold anybody else accountable is another big thing. As I mentioned, scholarships and financial aid. I know FAFSA has already opened up. It's time to get the FAFSA done, because I call it first come, first serve thing. Because if you have to wait until the last minute and expect them to give you X amount of dollars, and they can't because the person has went ahead and did it beforehand, you can't be mad at anybody but yourself. That's with scholarships here at Alcorn. If you missed the due date, you can't get mad that you have a $3,000 balance, but you had the opportunity to go get a scholarship, but you didn't do it. That's another big personal responsibility. Watch your surroundings. We growing up in a world that is crazy, and people are crazy. So I always I always say keep 4 eyes, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Keep on the lookout. Make sure that you're watching your surroundings at each given time. Coming to college, there's a lot of peer pressure. Do not be quick to be peer pressured. If you do not want to do it, if you do not want to go, if you just do not. It's absolutely okay. You don't have to go to the party every night, every single night. You may want to go. You may want to go one time in a month. That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You may not want to drink. That's absolutely fine. If you feel like they continue to peer pressure you, it may be time for you to find you some new friends or find you some new people to be with, because it's not worth it. It's not worth you. I always say never forget what you came to school for, because everything can look very glam and glitz until you get here, and then it's like, so what did you do your last year of school? Because the GPA says differently is what you're telling me. So just never forget what you came here for. Internships. I always say school prepares you, but internships makes you know if that's what you really want to do. And I know I've had my fair share of internships each semester. I think this is probably my first semester. I probably have not had an internship simply because it's senior year and I kind of know what I really want to do. But having those internships early, getting those internships opportunity, you may not even land an internship, but at least stay connected with the people that you applied your internship with, or people like your advisors. Your advisors are almost like your best friends here because they're going to have the resources, but it's up to you to use them, which leads me to my next point. It's a lot of free resources, whether that's internships or whether that's making sure that you're mentally, emotionally okay. I know here at Alcorn, they offer free counseling services to all students on campus, and they stress that each and every year. There's a lot of service. Like we have one that's a victim's advocate. I know they just had the event about like childhood trauma. They recently just had that event. I'm trying to think of what else. We have a thing called the career class, and I didn't realize a lot of schools don't have that. But within our career class, that you can actually go get professional clothes. That means dresses, shoes, suits. You can get professional clothes free of charge just being a student. All you have to do is go in there and sign in. Just go in there and basically shop for those that don't have like a way to get clothes or just need them, because we do have a lot of career fairs here, and we also have career services, and career services will help you do like your resumes. They'll help you navigate your job. We have this website called Handshake, and they send out different invitations for you to join different Zooms to just put your name out there and basically try to land you an internship, because some internships do not come easy like others. I know the times I've applied to internships, they came easy to me because I've had work I put in. I just made sure I had my ducks in a row when I did it. I applied for it, bam, internship. So everybody's not that easy. Everybody's not that easy. So that's why you have people that's here at Alcorn, and not only just Alcorn, you have people at every school, but you have to get out and go find those resources because they are there. Another big thing that I stress is be you in every way. There's only one you. So don't try to conform or fit in. Be the person that you're destined to be and just stick to that. And now I came up with these 3 C's, which kind of wraps up everything. Communicate. Communication is key. Communication is key even when you're in the classroom, when you even simply talking to your roommate. Because I don't know how many cases I have ran into out here of people personally telling me like they don't even talk to their roommate, and you share the same space. I was like, you don't talk to your roommate and you share the same space. That makes absolutely no sense. How do you? So you just go in the room and just? I was like, okay, everybody's not like that. You know, my roommate is like my roommate's almost like my best friend, my little sister. So like we talk each and every day. I know sometimes we stay up past the time we're supposed to be up having conversations, but that's where the communication comes in. That will help. That helps make the whole college experience. Even if you go out and just talk to random people. With me being a reporter, I go out and talk to random people. I convince random people to give me interviews, and then we'll have a conversation afterwards. Like, what's your reason for coming to Alcorn? Like, why Alcorn? You know, why this and that? You know, I've ran into a lot of people who tell me they're basically Alcornites, which means they've had generations of people to attend Alcorn, so it was just only right for them to fit in, just come on to Alcorn as their family have. The second C is create. Create those experiences. Don't be the person that sits in their room and look out the window and watch everybody just have a good time. Be the person that gets out and create those experiences, create those friendships, create those memories. Because I always say you only live undergrad once. You only live undergrad once. After those 4 years is up, it's time for the real world. And not even then, you may want to go get your master's, but even then, the undergrad experience is over. So create those memories, create those boundaries as well. Create those boundaries. Just create. Take the crates, and you can do several different things with it. Just keep that in mind. My third C is definitely connect. Connect with those people that's internships, connect with your professors. You don't know if you sit down in the office and talk to your professor, how much they would just enjoy that experience and be like, hey, I don't mind writing a letter of recommendation for you. Or hey, I think you should apply for this scholarship. Or hey, I think you should apply for this internship. It may be fitting for you. Just one simple conversation can take you different places. And not only that, like I've just me being as bubbly as me and me being Big Momma, I'm just gonna always be myself when I go places. I've met like officials, like I've met Albert Butler. I was able to interview him for a story I did with the SGA president. Our SGA president, we have the first woman president in 17 years. So that was a big thing out here. So he actually was one of her mentors growing up in school and growing up. And so it was nice to talk to him. I've actually interviewed what is his title? I can't think of his title, but I've actually interviewed the interim president this year. Me and him have a good connection. Anytime I see him, I know he used to come find me at lunch and we used to sit down and have lunch and talk. Or like when I see him around campus, he always gives me an interview. Like those type of connections will take you a long way. And with being in school, there's sometimes you don't know all the information, but having that connect will take you to the next step that the next person will not have. So communicate, create, connect. With all that being said, I thank you guys for the opportunity to let me talking to you today. If you have any questions, do not be afraid to ask, because I do not mind asking. I do not mind asking any questions. I'd rather you ask now rather than later. And if you want to, Pocket, I can leave my personal information. And if they want to connect, they can do that.
Yeah. And I do have some I'm going to get to, but a couple of things I wanted to talk about quickly before I get to their questions is, first of all, how did you graduate from Hinds in 3 semesters? Because I'm sure a couple of them might be wondering about that. So talk briefly on how that actually happened.
I graduated Hinds in 3 semesters specifically because of dual enrollment. Dual enrollment, I know it's still offered at Velma, but I was able to take English comp. I was able to take Western civilization. I took art appreciation, and those are what they're called. Those are what are called prereqs. So when I got to Hinds, I actually jumped right into my field. So Hinds Community College Utica is actually considered a career and technical school. So when you go to community college, you actually go into your major first, if that makes sense, and then you go back and do your prerequisites. But because I had already did my prerequisites, I was able to graduate a semester early, so that took off a little time that I had to be there.
Absolutely. Now, the last thing I wanted to talk briefly about before I get to their question, because I got some really good questions. Even, obviously everybody's not going to be a communications major or be on the broadcast side. But one thing you talked about that I think is extremely important is no matter what your major is in college or where you go to college, but getting involved in the student organizations is vital. And it's because of the networking, because you talked about it's not what you know, it's who you know. I'll take it one step farther and say it's who knows you. If you can't get your name out there, if you can't sell yourself and you don't have those connections through the internships, obviously everybody can't go to Greensboro, New York, Alabama, Vegas and everything. And all that's so cool and we're proud of you. But there's other opportunities where you can get your name out there and maybe those opportunities in other fields can open for you. And if all you're worried about is the GPA, which is important, if all you're, like you said, if you're just going to your room and just going to sleep, doing your assignments and having a great GPA, that's great. But at the end of the day, what are you working for if you're not going to get your name out there?
Yeah, that's a big thing. A big personal connect of mine is actually my former professor at Hinds. Like even to this day, I have his personal number. If I want to pick up the phone and call him and just have a random conversation, I pick up the phone and call him. And even now, every now and then he'll look out and be like, "Hey, I think you should apply for this job. I think you should do that." Just to make sure I'm okay, make sure where your head at before you graduate. Most definitely get out and create those experiences, because when you're creating those experiences, people get to seeing you. People get, oh, that's da 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 da, that's da 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 da, and like you said, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And that's the phrase that I have realized since I've been in school, because I can be the brainiac, but if I don't know anybody, if I don't try to get out there and market myself, how do I expect to land internships and land this and land that? It's some people in the ag department. Agriculture is a big thing. Alcorn is an ag school. Now, you would think that a lot of people in the ag will stay to themselves, stay within their thing because they're so busy with ag. But I've ran into a lot of ag majors who say, simply by me just going and talking to my professor, I was able to get this and that and this and that. And I was like, that's actually nice. So most definitely get out there and create those experiences, because who wants to sit at 4 walls? I can sit at 4 walls. I can look at 4 walls at the house and to save money in the process. So most definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I want to get to many of these questions as I can, because I got some good ones. This first one's Christian Mitchell. She's a senior, also a member of TSA, does track, powerlifting, volleyball, involved in a lot of stuff as well. She asks, considering you do a lot and are very good at balancing tasks, has there ever been a time you were overwhelmed and questioned a couple of your decisions?
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. I'll give you 2 instances. Maybe the year before last. No, last October, I lost my grandma, my great grandma. That was the person that raised me. That was the person that made me me. So like, imagine losing somebody that close, not being there to say goodbye. Managing 2 internships at the time, because I was working for WLBT and I was working for Erdic Steel. Being a full-time college student and part-time, I work part-time. So like I literally had to take a break. When I say I took a break, I literally had to leave campus for like 2, 3 days just to go and reset my mind. That's why now I stress mental, emotional, and physical health is important. While being in school, it is important. But good thing I had good friends that understood. I explained to them what was going on, and I just took me a break. Another one was actually last semester. Being the president of organizations is not easy, especially when you're the person. Sometimes there are people that don't want change because that's uncomfortable for them, but when you're the person that's so outspoken, you're going to get so many no's and so many, oh, we don't do that, or we don't do this. And that did a lot on me mentally. Like, okay, if I'm gonna keep getting no, am I gonna keep at least trying? Like, is it worth trying? And that answer to that question, yes, it's worth trying, because eventually out of 50 no's, you're gonna get a yes. And the yes is gonna get you one step closer to what's your purpose here? What's your purpose here in the world? So yeah, mental breaks are important. Whoever asked that question, mental breaks are important. And when mental breaks are important, I'm telling you, I'm one person. I consider myself a busybody, and Poggy knows I'm a busybody. I do 50, 11 things at one time. And even my roommate was like, "You do a lot. Like, do you realize that you do a lot?" I was like, "No, this is just a normal thing to me." But when you need a break, take you a break. Don't worry about what nobody has to say. If you have to go, and I ain't saying physically disappear, but if you have to go and disappear like for a day, or go and disappear for a couple of hours, I know I take myself on like solo trips now. I may go to McAllister's, and then I may go to Vicksburg and just go watch the sunset by the bridge, which is a beautiful view. Or I may just go over to like the lake that we have on campus, which is like in the back of the campus, and just sit there and just be in thought, or like I'll journal, or like I read my Bible. Like I have to, mental health is important. Whatever you have to do to feel like you have to just escape for the world, just for like as much time as you need. I'm gonna say that you do that. You do that, because it can get a lot. Like I said, we live in a crazy world, and mental health is definitely important. So yeah, there's time I get overwhelmed, but I just take me a break and keep it pushing.
Yeah, and we're going to have a couple mental health professionals join us before the semester's over to talk about that transition, because it's going to affect everybody. I like this one. This is Shania Kyles, actually a junior, transferred here from Minnesota, one of
Okay.
our Blue Diamond teachers. And she asked, "What was your biggest encouragement to take up journalism and writing, and what's the best experience you've had during all of your events?"
Ooh. So originally I really wanted to go into nursing. Like my grandma was diabetic, and I used to see her like take her insulin. I was like, I wonder, is there ever a cure for diabetes? And that kind of encouraged me to do nursing. Then I looked more into nursing as I got into high school, and I was like, whoa, nursing is a lot. Like nursing is a lot. So being in the Academy of Multimedia, which I have to give my props to, was like my way of finding what I really wanted, which was like production and photography and print and all that. I was like, okay, this is something different that a lot of people of color don't get exposed to as often. So I'm always advocate for the Academy of Multimedia. If you want to experience something totally different from just the nursing and construction, you should just take a peek into the Academy of Multimedia, because it shows you another realm of things that you can do, like newspaper, and you can take that education that you can do newspaper, you can do television, you can do acting. I know one of the graduates, I don't know if most of you know, but Ezekiel Harris, I know me and him talked the other day, and he was like, he still wants to be an actor. I was like, so do you feel like your experience at the Academy of Multimedia has actually encouraged you to do that? He was like, yeah, it gives you that confidence, it gives you that boost. And being in TSA, big kudos to TSA. I love TSA through and through. And if anytime I can help, I can help. TSA gives you that encouragement young. It lets you know, even with competition, it shows you win some, you lose some, but it's okay, because you take those critiques and you go back and you work on it. And just imagine losing and losing and losing, and then finally you hear your name being called, and it's like, so all that work I put in is finally coming to fruition. So yeah, um, my number one experience. Ooh, I got so many. I got so many. Uh, I must say my number one experience though that I have, this will be my biggest takeaway of just like my college journey, when they announced my name, when they said my name winning the number one documentary amongst all the colleges that were there, that was like a surreal moment, because not only what was our name, the school name getting called back to back to back, it was like, did they just call your name for your documentary? Like first place? First place? And I remember walking up there and my professor, like we were there taking a picture. I know you saw in the PowerPoint, we took a picture as a group, but he was like, no, that didn't help with that. You know, go get your own shine. He made me go back up there and take another picture. So in the process of me taking my picture and walking back to my seat, Howard Ballou, who you seen me in the picture, he was like, I seen your documentary, and it was nice. And why did he say that to me? Because I was like, Howard Ballou watching my documentary, like little old me, little old girl from Camden, Mississippi, my documentary that I produced. So like that was like the most heartwarming experience. And I know I got plenty more, but that one was the biggest one.
All right, I just got time for one more. This is Cameron Murray, our Mr. Velma Jackson.
Okay.
Also a member of our band and was part of the Delta State Honor Choir. So he's
Okay.
a competition as well. And he asked, how was it adapting from life in high school to where you are now?
It was something. With the class of 2020, COVID shook us a lot. So like the experiences that a lot of you guys will get to experience, like that senior trip, that those last moments with your classmate, like ours was cut short after spring break. I remember going on an SGA trip and never going back to school. But the SGA trip was the highlight of our trip. I remember the boys ended up going to the championship. They lost that day. It was just like, oh my God, this is not how we end senior year. So like being able to just adjust from COVID times, and I know going into school we had COVID times. You wore your mask, you were 6 feet, still going on. Like even now, a lot of it has diminished. It was just like, oh my, this is the real world. Like, am I ready for all this? Like that was my thought. Like, am I ready for all this? But I must say, through my journey of leaving high school, COVID happened. Even now into college, and crazy enough, me and my friends talked about this the other day. I end up finding a sense of purpose. I end up finding my why. You may hear a lot of people say finding your why. I end up finding that why and getting more into like the word of God, like actually growing that, becoming that woman of God that I really, really wanted to. So like all that, like just basically finding myself was like my escape from the world around us and the craziness that was around us per se. So like, yeah, the adjustment is something I must say. Not being under mama all day long, not going home some weekends. You can't go to every single party. It was an adjustment, but it was a life-changing adjustment. I'm going to say that because if me personally, I stay to myself. So like being RA, I had to get out there. You had to know people. You had to know this. You had to know that. I was like, I know I like people. I love people dearly. I still like to be by myself, and I don't like to be bothered. So being already getting called at 4 a.m. is not fun, but it's cool. It's an experience. It's something that I can say. The next person can't say, "Oh, I didn't experience it," or "I've never been to New York," or "I've never been to North Carolina." Like those are experiences. Like those are one of a kind, free experiences that you just don't get every single day. So I can definitely say the adjustment was definitely hard, but finding that sense of finding your purpose, finding that why you do things, and just finding yourself is like that was the biggest takeaway of just the adjustment in general.
Absolutely. Well, we're up against the bell. We're almost out of time. And as always, we just thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, and I speak for so many people and say how proud we are to call you an alum of Velma Jackson. You just really a great example of what is possible. And that goes to show, you said, you were walking these same hallways, sitting in these same chairs with these same teachers, living in the same area, growing up in the same circumstance, but yet you just showed us proof that you did some incredible things. So it can happen. So if these kids want the same things to happen for them, what can they do to follow in your footsteps?
When people ask me that question, that following the footsteps question, I always say, don't be like me, be you. Don't be like me, be you. Because it's only one me. There will never be another Mekiyla. But there may be another path that Pocket can take. And most definitely thank you for even reaching out to a lot of the students. And not even just the students, you have professionals. I even go on the YouTube page and listen to some of the Zooms, and I'll be like, oh my God, how did Pocket find this person? Like, I need their contact. Like, why do I not have these contacts? Um, stay as many no's you're gonna get, and trust me, I've got many no's. Being the most outspoken person in my department, I've gotten so many no's. But Don't let those 50 no's stop you from finally reaching that one yes. And also, even just reflecting back on walking those halls, that's where you start. That's your start. Our high school is the time to finally start to think about what you really want to do in life. Like, what's that purpose? What's your why? And doing that, starting that early, is key. Is key. Is key. Is key. Um, and staying in your lane. Don't try to venture off because, oh, my friend can do nursing, I'm gonna do nursing. No, the nursing may not be for you. You may go be a construction builder. Nursing just may not be for you. Just know your lane. Stay in your lane. It's okay. Another big thing, and I'll stop talking because I rant all day. I hear a lot of people talk about what is it called? I just had on top of my brain. Uh uh it's an experience where I'm gonna think about the word in a minute. It's an experience where you stop comparing yourself to other people. There we go.
Yeah.
Stop comparing yourself to other people because what it looks like may not be maybe not what it look like. Because my passion may be way different from your passion, but because I do 50 11 things, don't mean you have to go do 50 11 things. You may can do one or two, and it may satisfy you. Stay in your lane, find your purpose. But don't be afraid to hear a no, because you're gonna hear a no. You're gonna hear a no. The no's just make the yeses even better. You're gonna hear a no.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, we're up against the bell any second now, but I know you said they can reach out to you for any questions, and I had some good ones I didn't get a chance to get to, and I'll get you those offline. But Mekiyla Brown, class of 2020, they're on the reservation at Alcorn State University. Mekiyla Brown, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank y'all for having me.
All right, talk to you soon, Big Mama.
All right.